many videos lately, so I thought I'd come down into the workshop and make one because it's a cold day in mid-February, and I thought that would be the best place to be at this time of day. So what I'll do, I'll make a video on clamps and jigs, and I'll show you what I do or what I have concerning clamps and jigs. And if I take you down to the workbench, what I've done, I put out on the workbench some common clamps that I've got. And there we go down there, and there's the clamps that are the most common ones that I use. And these are the clamps. They're G clamps. They're called G clamps. They look like a G, capital G. So that's 75 mil. That means that it's there, a 3-inch or 75 mil. That's the jaw size that you could put in there. That's 100 mil, yeah, 4-inch, 100 mil, and that's a 6-inch, which would therefore be 150 mil, which is in there. So that's it. And those are the common clamps that I use. If you haven't got any, you want to look out and buy some of them, because once you've bought them, you'll find that you're in constant use and very an aid to in your workshop. And also here, because I've got them, I put 3 sets of 3 mole grips, and there's large, medium, small, obviously, and I find them very handy. We call it the mole grips in the UK. I don't quite know why, but I think you got another name for them in USA and various other countries. So they're also very handy. So there's clamps. Now then, following off from there, about jigs. Now a jig is, if you wanted to describe it, is anything that will aid you in doing your work. You know, anything that aids you to hold or present the work, so that, say, you're machining it or you're drilling it or whatever. And this is a little thing that I've made. I got a bigger one than this, but the reason I've made another one is because if I've got the here we are, I'm going to make a jig out of a piece of round wood. Well, I've made them actually, and in order to turn the square into a round, you want a piece of wood about that long, you know, longer than the wood there. And the reason for that is that if you turn the square into a round and you've got a small hand plane, a very small one, and it's that size, and you want to turn, you can, once you catch the wood and go on like that, that won't move, and so therefore when you come back, you just move it a little bit, catch it, and then you can take your hand away, and then catch it, and then you take your hand away, and you can turn that into quite a reasonable round. And then once you've got it, you can finish it off with sandpaper. You put it vertically in the vise, and you know what I mean, you rub it like that, and eventually comes to a round. That's how I made that. And this one is a blank. What I mean by a blank is it's the size that I may want in the future. I'm not going to do any more machining to it, because I will want to alter the characteristics of it, you like, or the methodologies to fit the purpose in sometime in the future if I do require it. So that's a blank. I made a blank. And the other one that's used, I've used that one for other purposes. So I'm left with this one, and this is, you can call it a jig. As I say, it's the simplest thing, so long as it performs the function and holds the material or whatever, is called a jig, and that's about the simplest jig you can get. And this will perform 2 functions, and the 2 functions can be represented by, there's a hole there in that side and a hole in that side, and so one function is performed with the one and the other with the other. So what I want to do, and I'll just take you over to the vise, is let's have a look if we can get to the vise. There we are. That's it. Now then, that's it. Now then, what I want to do is put this in the vise, because I want well, I've already done it, so I'm going to simulate it. I want to drill a hole in there, and what I want to do is to object the exercise is I've got a shaft here, a very small shaft, and I want to grind the end of that shaft on the bench grinder. But because it's so small, there is a little bit of a danger to yourself, and to make it more convenient, I'm going to set it up in a jig. Here's the jig. So I've drilled a hole in it there, and then I can push that in there, and then I won't push it in all the way because it's very tight until we're ready, and that then I can hold it, and we'll go through the process of grinding it on the bench grinder. Now, what I've done out of experience, because very often I want to drill holes in pieces of material like that, is that I know that when I set that to the lower end of them jaws, that jig to the lower end of them draws, and put that level on it and set it at a level, which I will do now if with a little bit of luck. That's it, it's alright, there you are. Now then, just a minute, just a little bit, that's it. And that's at the lower end of the jaws now. I know then, out of past experience, that if I then get my twist drill, my drill, sorry, and I put it on the vise here. That's that little jig that I got there. I put that out the way. If I put that on there, and then I've already drilled the hole, but I'll simulate it, and I put it to the center punch there, and then rotate that until the handle of my drill is just on the edge of the bench. Then that then is parallel here. This is horizontal as well. So it's therefore the hole will then be in line. I don't want it to kink, otherwise it will interfere with my grinding work. So that's it. So that's there. So when it's on there, what I do then, I hold the drill on the end of the bench with my left hand, and then start that up, and then just drill it like that, you see. I've already drilled it, so that's okay. So that then is performed the function. We can take that out now. We'll have a look. And come on. And here, what we can do now then is present that into the jig in this manner. Just put it there. Yeah, that's the one. That's the right one. And so that's it. And then I can just push that on there now. And a nice firm fit. And so we can take that now to the grinder in our jig and perform the function of drilling it. You see, I just move you across very handily to the grinder, and get a pair of glasses, and I can grind that now. I want to grind that to a flat and then put a different angle on it, because that's what I want to do. So we'll just start it up. Before you start a grinder up, and especially if somebody else has been using it, step to one side, because you never know if that stone has been damaged by somebody else and they haven't told you. And if you're in front of it, that stone is quite heavy and it's rotating at 50 cycles a second and 60 seconds in a minute. So that's 3,000 revs per minute, less the inductive force in there, which reduces it to 2,800 RPM, which means that it's got a lot of centrifugal force. If that was to fracture, it would explode, if you like, or in a fashion, and it would hurt you. So stand to one side, just wait for it to start up. That's okay. I know it's okay because I'm the only one who's used it for a while, and therefore just have a look at the tool rest to see that it's nice. Close to the wheel, as close to the wheel as possible without touching the wheel. The wheel is running nice and true, isn't it? See how nice and true that is? So that's running really well. So now, if I had to use that, it's very awkward, but because I can put that in there now, I can work on that a lot easier. So let's grind that away to start. Now then, if you're doing any grinding like this, keep some water very close by, very handy, because a small steel like this will burn very quickly. See how quickly it burns? So you've got to do it slowly and dip regularly. Otherwise you burn the steel and it doesn't like it. There's a little bit of a burr coming on there, but we'll deal with that. But see, because I'm dipping in regularly, it isn't gluing the steel very much. So just a little bit more, just to get rid of that. Now then, if you're let's say if you're making a cone on there, let's make a cone on the front. Now, if you're making a cone, if you bring your hand like that, you bring your hand like that, right, and then turn like that, and then put it to the wheel, the angle that you want for a cone, and then just go like that. You should be able to go round in one go, and therefore you get a nice turn, rather than doing, let's say, doing it like this. So that's it. So let's that's something that if you sort of wind your hand back and then you wind your hand as well, and then you can go full circle without stopping. Okay, now then, let's just grind that off again. But I don't want that. This will only take a minute. I'll keep that little chamfer that I put on there now. See how often I dip the tool, and now it's keeping the metal clean, and it preserves the strength of the steel. If you allow it to blue, then you've lost the strength in the steel. You've annealed it. What you've done, you softened the steel. That's it. Now I want it at 45 degrees. That is 0 degrees. That is 90 degrees. So halfway is 45 degrees. I can guess that for all intents and purposes for what I need. There it is. So let's just always move the material along the stone if you can, and try and keep the edge. That's good, that is excellent. And try and keep the edge nice and sharp, because you want that for drilling your for using grinding twist drills, which requires that. So there we are. We performed that function, so we can switch that off, and let's go back to where we were before. And what I'll do, I'll just go a quick process of got rid of that. Now then, there should be, oh yeah, now then, that was on this side of the wheel, wasn't it, of the jig. That's how I grind it. Now I can do the same on this side. And what I've done there, I've got a screw, and what I want to do is reduce the flange of that screw until all you see it up to the point where you've got the indents for the screwdriver to go in. I want to reduce the surface of that screw to make it as inconspicuous as practicable. So what I want to do, I put it in there, go through the same function as we did with the drill, but what I've got here, the root of that screw, that means the metal, if you were to get rid of the screw effect, what is left is about 2 mil. So I've got a 1.5 mil drill, and I drilled it, put that in there, and put it with the screw, with the drill. I drilled it in there, a 1.5 mil, and then what I done then was I got that, and I put the there we are. Put the thread, and I screwed a thread in it. Now then, once you got a thread in it, I can use it again and again, because I wanted about 5, I'll show you the reason why if I got time. I wanted about 5 or 6 screws with reduced flanges. So I put it in there and the thread was put in. Now, and if I'm going to use it multiple times, what you must do is make sure that you go in the same thread every time. Now then, if I put that on the thread, now if I turn that anti-clockwise, see how it's coming out of the thread with gentle forward pressure, anti-clockwise, and I should click to go into the thread. And see that click? It's clicked in. Now instead of going anti-clockwise, I can go clockwise. And that will go easily into the thread because we're going through the same thread as we had before. So there we are. So that goes up into there. So now I can now go on the bench grinder and put the thread in. I'll just do that one more time. I don't know why I should, because it might not work as well the second time, but we'll have a go. But that is you got the idea. So if you got it like that, put it in there. You want to do this even with metal threads. Always go anti-clockwise. See that little click then? See that little click? Now then, let's just go back. Now then, let's go there. Now if I just go back there, we go anti-clockwise with gentle pressure, forward pressure on my right hand, and I'm waiting for the click. There it is. There's the click, and it's clicked in. So now I know that when I turn that, it'll follow the original thread exactly. So this can be used many times. I've used it about 8 times now, and it still keeps that thread because I'm looking after the thread, you see. Now let's go back to the grinder. You know how to do that now. And if I do this, I don't have to edit it, you see. I'm lazy. And we start that up again. Just get that away out of your out of habit. So what I want to do is reduce the flange on that now until all I can see is the cross, and I put it on there now, and I do exactly the same. I can just turn that, and then I can just spin it around. See, now you're keeping it, and then we do that again. Now we want to go some more. See how quickly that works, and you get a nice look on your work. Now then, I've only done it 3 times, and because I'm going round, you can see how nice that is. Nice thing. Now then, what you can do, now then, that's made that parallel, whereas the actual screw has got a chamfer on it under the head, and I could, if I want, put a chamfer on this. It's a little bit tricky, but I use the side of the wheel for this. I can do it probably down there just as well, possibly, to try it. Now then, I think I'll just go up here. I can't do it all in one go on this one. But you see, I put the chamfer on there now, so that screw has now got the got what I want. I've done a number of these. Here they are. Some of them I find that I don't need to put the chamfer on, but that's it. So that is how you can use a jig. See, because I've been dipping it in water and looking after my hands and that, I can take that out of there now, and then I could get another screw and put that in and perform that function probably a dozen times and still have an original thread on there, whereas if you don't, now then, there we are, and that, you can see that that is smaller than that. And I tell you what, I'll show you what the reason I'm doing it, if you like. And we just go back to the bench, and there's my little jig. There's another jig. And here, what the reason I'm doing it is that in the kitchen, or there's a hardwood like a surround, and it's got to be removed from time to time to do some maintenance. So I thought that if I put screws in, they look rather untidy with the big flange, so I made one with the little flange, you see, without the flange, and that's it. So you can see the difference, and I just done that because I can and because it works. And by using a jig, then it performs that function, and I can do it safely and quite contentedly. Okay, I'll put that on YouTube, and then that'll be that. And probably next time I'll do something totally different, and look out for it, because I think you'll find it quite interesting, because